Hi, hello, I'm Joan from Reading with Joan. Welcome to my channel. Kindly remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel today. We love reading with you and interacting with our kids. On our Wednesday time, we read, and on Saturday, we talk and we just talk about morals, talk about things that are related to our culture because we want kids to be culturally aware. We want kids to grow up to be very responsible and independent individuals. I hope you will join us Wednesday and Saturday. Remember, like, comment, and share our channel with your friends and family. We hope you enjoy reading with us today. Hello kids! We are still reading tales from around the world. Yay! Today we are moving to another country. So we've read stories from China. We've read stories from India. Today, guess what? We are going to Japan! We're going to read wisdom stories from Japan. So let's get on. Today is the same story from Japan. We'll be reading for the next few weeks. Today's story is titled The Monk with Heavy Thoughts. Let's start. As two Zen monks walked along a muddy, rain-drenched road, they came upon a lovely woman attempting to cross a large, muddy puddle. The elder monk stopped beside the woman, lifted her in his hands, and carried her across the puddle. He sat her gently down on the dry ridge of the road as the young monk discreetly admired her charms. After bowing politely to the woman, the two monks continued down the muddy road. The young monk was sulky and silent as they walked along. They traveled over the hills and down the valleys, through the town and under the forest trees. At last, after many hours had passed, the younger monk scolded the elder ones. Are you aware we monks don't touch women? Why did you carry that girl? The elder monk turned around and smiled. He said, "My dear young brother, you have such heavy thoughts. I left the woman alongside the road hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" Did you understand? Let me take you back the story. So, the older monk told the younger monk, "I carried her and I dropped her along the way. But from the time I dropped her, we traveled the hills, we traveled the valley, we traveled the town, we traveled the forest, and you are still carrying her in your mind." Kids, I learned something from that. What are the things that we are carrying that we should have dropped? Let me give an example. Somebody offends you, and the person sometimes don't even know they offend you. Like the older monk did not know that the younger monk was thinking about that. But for years and years, we carry the issue from one time to another. Every year, we carry the offense in our heart. And we say, why did that person do that? Why did that person do that? Meanwhile, the older monk did not even remember or think about it. What are you thinking in your mind, young child? What is the precious things you are thinking in your mind? What are the things you hold on to? I remember telling my friends a few days ago, she asked me about a situation and something she told me about. I said, no, my brain and my mind, they function in another dimension. I don't know how to keep such information because I sift information that comes into my mind. Let's be careful the things that we allow to dwell in our mind, child. Take away those painful situations. Take away those situations of somebody that hurts you, or bitterness, or anger, or any hurt feeling, sadness that will weigh you down. Like the older monk, let's carry them and drop the thought. Not like the younger monk that carried the thought all along. That is a very beautiful lesson. And I'll see you next time as we continue from the stories from Japan.
Reading with Joan, the place for
Hello, Chapter 7, Weaver Birds. This is quite a long chapter, so you might have to take 2 weeks instead of 1. Drew outlined a huge spider's web. In the dawn light, the boy ducked his hand under it and scrambled up an anthill that stood a meter above the ripening melon. Grabbing a rope, he pulled rhythmically. This rope was attached to a string that stretched out in all directions, and to it were tied tins, bells, strips of paper, metal and plastic, pieces of broken bottles, anything that would flutter, glitter, or jangle. Baruti, Noha, and Tembo stood watching how this kept the hungry birds in the air. It is like a giant spider web. Noha nodded and pointed across water and weeds. There is the real spider's web, that village of Mungo. It is a kilometer away if you could walk through deep mud and slime, but if you walk on firm ground, 5 kilometers. That place had been a trap for man for a long time, said Baruti. See the mango trees? They are planted by the Arabs who carried their people away to be slaves over 100 years ago. These days, in the shadow of the same mango trees is the market for marijuana and the fiery drink brewed from honey. These twist people's minds while the cunning ones on Mungo become rich. Many smuggle ivory and rhino horn spy drops. Some who enter that evil village disappear forever. It is a place of human spiders. Almost with relief, Noha turned sharply to the south. High between those trees is the hill beyond the road. The new ways bring small joy to those who live. We shall go there today, said Baruti. He and Tembo had been walking for an hour when they came to a garden with splendid maize growing in soil that had been dug into ridges. Cow manure had been liberally sprinkled over the ground. A young man with a hoe came over to greet them. Your corn grows with strength, smiled Baruti. Words of truth. Do I not follow the way of wisdom I learned at school? It is not the custom to use manure. The young man laughed. It is not the custom of the tribe to have crops like those. Although I do not burn the corn stalks, I dig them in. If only I had water, I could have 2 crops a year. Baruti raised his eyebrows. Would you have satisfaction if water could be brought to your crops? The young gardener rolled his eyes. Where did one have luck of that sort? Days later, and much further round the swamp, Baruti and Tembo stood looking at a hillside that ran down to the water's edge. The earth was cut and scarred by soil erosion. Above the sick-looking place of ground was a miserable collection of millet. Baruti greeted a tall, thin man. What is the news? The news is good, but we face famine. The land hereabouts is no strength. What of the birds? The man shrugged. We shall have nothing. Neither will they. Your garden would be better if you followed the new way and dug it in ridges so that the rains and the water that runs down from the hill could be held at the roots of your garden. Also, the soil will not be washed away. The thin man shrugged. It is easier to cut another garden from the thorn bush. Baruti walked in front. On his shoulder, one end of the pole. Tembo carried the other end. On the pole were several bags containing 11 snakes. They walked slowly along the main road. The earth-moving machine came into sight. It stopped, and its cheery voice said, What is the news, Bwana Snakecatcher? It is good, Bwana Pili Pili. We have hunted successfully. That's a food for the ears. Do you need my help? I often go to Mabwe, and if you tie your snakes in bags with strong rope and firm knots, I shall deliver them with care. Thank you very much, said Baruti. That brings me joy. For these last few days, I have heard many words which has had no kindness in them. It is understood, chuckled Pili Pili. Those on the far side of the swamp have many goats. Now goats are the enemy of the true farmer. They eat to the roots of the grass, and their tongues find seeds deep down. Their hoofs cut the ground into many paths and turn solid ground into dust to be carried away by wind. Woof! It blows, and the garden is either in the swamp was whirling high in the air on its way to Kenya or even Egypt. Such are the people of the villages of Mutema and Kufunde. Truly, agreed Baruti. These people refuse the idea of using water above and the good earth beneath. Grow for a time, forget these people and bring comfort to your feet, and travel with me to the place where Punda rests. Rolled in his blanket in Noha's house, then that evening, Tembo whispered, "No, Barana Baruti, I have thankfulness for that great yellow machine who took the weight off our feet for many kilometers. Also, that our snakes are on the way to those who pay for them." Baruti yawned comfortably. "Sleep with peace, Tembo. Tomorrow we will bring warmth to your heart." "Today," said Noha, still thankful to have been rescued from the python, "I will show you a way to move through the swamp without wetting the." At the edge of the water, a baobab tree lay on its side. In its gaping hollow trunk was a raft of light wood with 4 kerosene tins lashed to the underside. White birds stalked around the reeds in the shade of trees whose upper limbs sagged under the weight of weaver birds' nests. "Look!" gasped Temple. "Look!" A little snake, no thicker than a man's thumb, was climbing a tree to a dangling nest woven firmly to the end of a branch that was little more than a twig. The entrance to the west was cunningly placed and shaped so that only with extreme difficulty and could any snake take young birds or eggs from it. Seeing their enemy, weaver birds by the score attacked him, some pecking angrily, others fluttering in his face, and all of them shrilling their defiance. The snake couldn't turn, he couldn't strike back, so he let go and fell with a splash into the water. They watched him swoon away and disappear in the reeds. "There are many like him," said Noha. "Also, there are more of those small birds in this swamp than I have ever seen before. But every tree has few leaves but many nests. When the eggs within those nests hatch, millions more weaver birds will fly to the crops. Truly, there will be famine this year." Baruti and Tembo saw how true this was as they pulled the raft along the strip of water which wound through islands, mud banks, great stones that rose sharply from the water. Okay, we continue from where we stopped again next time. We'll see you. Bye.
Each other and be friends with one another. So, reading with Joan, the place for all the fun.
Hi. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope to see you next time on another story time with Joan. Reading with Joan.